friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I have a bit of a book haul for you today. I don't plan on getting any other books this month, so I thought I would sit down and film this haul because I have a lot to show you today. At the very end of March and the first weekend of April, there were 2 different library sales that I went to. I also placed a book outlet order in the last sale that they had. And what else? I stopped at a little free library and dropped off a couple books and picked up 2 more. I won an Instagram giveaway. I got a Fiction Guild book. We have a lot of things to cover. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to do kind of the boxy stuff first. The first one is from Thomas Nelson, HarperCollins, from the Fiction Guild, and they sent me In the Shadow of Croft Towers by Abigail Wilson. This is a bit of a mystery, like a historical mystery maybe. This girl, Sybil, is on her way to Croft Towers to be a companion of the mistress there. On the way, her stagecoach is like highway robbed. She's okay, she survives, she gets to where she's going. One of her jobs is to deliver messages to the town, like secret messages, and then other passengers that were on that stagecoach with her begin to be murdered. There's a lot of secrets, a little bit of a mystery, and kind of set in a historical setting. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm into it. Then I won a giveaway on Instagram from Amber Eats Books. She's also here on BookTube, Amber Eats Books. And she sent me Educated by Tara Westover. I have already read this, but when I read it, I borrowed it from the library. So I'm thrilled to have it now because I feel like this is one I could reread or also share with friends. So thank you so much, Amber. I'm very excited to own Educated. This is a nonfiction memoir about Tara's life growing up in a survivalist family, kind of off the grid. Her parents did not believe in formal education or hospitals and doctors, and so every time they were hurt, they had to get taken care of at home. She teaches herself, passes exams, gets herself to college. Very cool story, and written with such grace and love for her family, even though she experienced such a wild upbringing. So yeah, really good story. Loved it, and I'm thrilled that I won that giveaway. Next, I have a box from Book Outlet. It's been a while since I've ordered from them, so when they had their last sale, I kind of went a little bit crazy with some of the stuff that they had on sale. It was during March, so I was middle grade on the brain, so I got quite a few middle grade books. I got 2 written by Claire Vanderpool, Moon Over Manifest, which is a Newbery Medal winner, and then another one by her, Navigating Early. So both of them have won awards. I really don't know much about them, but I know that I want to read all the Newberys, so picked up that one, as well as a classic middle grade, What Katie Did by Susan Coolidge. Just looked like a lot of fun. Another middle grade that I grabbed is one that when Katie and I were trying to decide what the group pick was going to be, I often would ask children's librarians, what they thought a good choice would be, and one of them mentioned to me The Book of Boy by Catherine Gilbert Murdoch, and I believe this might be on the higher end of middle grade, potentially even young adult. I'm not really sure fully what this is about. Here's what it says. What a fine story this is, for who does not want to read about such things? A boy who can talk to animals, a terrifying, perilous journey full of bravery and daring, knights and bandits and ghosts and thieves, howling wolves, heroic donkeys, and a bag of bones. Lords, ladies, liars, and riches beyond compare, and mysteries and miracles of the sort that concern the living and the dead. It doesn't really tell you anything about what the book is about, but I respect my librarian's recommendations and also thought that it has a really cool cover and sounds really fun. So grabbed that one. I think those are the only middle grade. I picked up another one that I had read before, Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is a YA alternate reality after World War II, as if the Axis powers, Japan and Germany, won the war. And there's this girl who, because of experiments performed on her during the war, she is now a shapeshifter, and she decides to enter this motorcycle race because the winner gets to meet Hitler and she wants to kill him. So she wants to win the race and then kill Hitler. It sounds a little out there, but it was really fantastic. I really, really loved it, as well as the sequel, Blood for Blood, which I didn't get at this point because they had sold out before I made my purchase. But I'm really glad to own this one now. I got a couple classics. I recently unhauled my ugly version of Jane Eyre, and so I'm thrilled to now have this copy of Jane Eyre. It's like this leathery, not quite paperback, but not quite hardback, soft cover, I think they call it. Unfortunately, the words are itty bitty on the page. I'm just really excited to have this copy. It's beautiful. Beautiful Jane Eyre. It's a little shimmery and purple. Love. I picked up 2 more classics to add to my classics shelf. Ones that I've heard about here on BookTube and would like to read someday. Thomas Hardy. I don't think I've read anything from Thomas Hardy. Oh wait, I think I did read Tess of the D'Urbervilles. That's Thomas Hardy, right? Far from the Maddening Crowd. I recently, I think, heard Doris from Aldi Books talk about this maybe. So yeah, grabbed that one. I love this edition, and picked up another Bronte novel, Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Then on the recommendation from April, getting hooked with it, I picked up Hum If You Don't Know the Words by Bianca E. Murray. I heard this is a tearjerker. I did actually recently get it on my Kindle as well, but I don't ever pick up my Kindle. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I thought I would grab it here because I'll probably read it much more quickly. Well, we know how that is. This one is set in South Africa during apartheid in the 1970s. So some racial situations going on. I'm not really sure. We follow a girl named Robin and Beauty. I think we go back and forth between those 2 women's perspectives in apartheid South Africa, which is not an area of the world that I've read very much about. But April had spoken very highly of this, as well as a few other people as well. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Then I kind of went on a C.S. Lewis binge. I would love to have a collection of C.S. Lewis's works, not just the Chronicles of Narnia, but also some of his nonfiction. So I picked up 4 of them that are all in this same edition. And Book Outlet has a bunch of them, and I could have got so many more, but I was limiting because of my wallet. So I did pick up a few that kind of stood out to me the most. This one is Reflections on the Psalms. I love the Book of Psalms in the Bible, and I thought this would be a really nice kind of devotional type read. I picked up one that is not nonfiction, actually, The Dark Tower and Other Stories. I have only read his Narnia fiction. He has others, clearly. So this is a book of short stories. And I think this is also fiction, Till We Have Faces. It says a myth retold. Oh yeah, Cupid and Psyche. So I believe this is a retelling of Cupid and Psyche, the myth, and I have that one. And then I just loved the title of this, Surprised by Joy, The Shape of My Early Life. So I believe this is kind of a memoir autobiography of his younger years. So I have those 4 C.S. Lewis, and hopefully we'll pick up a few more of these editions of his works from Book Outlet in my next order. All right, that covers all the things that were sent to me. Now we get into the library book sale finds. Oh, first, the Little Free Library. I dropped off a few books and picked up The T-Bird of Hummingbird Lane by Lisa C. A couple months ago when I did my authors that I haven't yet read video, I forgot to include Lisa C because I believe this is my 4th or 5th book that I own from her, and I haven't read any. But this is one of her more recent. So this one came out in 2017. Lisa C is an author that I'm very interested in, but haven't read any yet. And then I had given away my copy of A Wrinkle in Time recently, and I love this version. I actually want to own the whole quartet, but I thought I would just pick up this one since I don't own it anymore. The first library book sale that I went to, I just picked up a couple things. 2 middle grade books because it was at the end of March, and again, middle grade was on my mind. I had heard a lot of people talking about The Wednesday Wars by Gary D. Schmidt. This is one of those where the cover doesn't really match the insides. This looks very middle grade-y on the cover, but my adult friends who were reading this for middle grade March really, really loved it. And then another Newbery Medal winner, Johnny Tremaine by Esther Forbes. Just trying to gather all of those along the way. I picked up Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. I think I heard some mixed feelings of this one. It's a bit magical realism. I tried to read The Reluctant Fundamentalist by him, and I couldn't get into the writing at all, so I'm a little wary of this one, but it was super cheap, so I thought I'd grab it. As well as a travel book for Istanbul. I think this is pretty old, but there are loads of pictures, and I am going there this summer, so I thought this would be fun to kind of look through and get excited about my trip coming up. The next 5 are from this neighborhood garden club fair thing, that spring fair that was going on in my neighborhood, or the neighborhood near me. I thought I'd pop in and just see what I could find, and they had a table of books for sale. And it was like, buy 4, get the 5th one free. So of course I found 5. And the paperbacks were just $1 a piece. So I grabbed The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This is in wonderful condition. I'm currently at the very beginning still of The Secret Histories. I'm supposed to be reading that this month. I'm definitely planning on getting to it. But this is the other book by Donna Tartt that I thought I'd grab. The other four I don't really know that much about, except that they are all historical fiction. So Early One Morning by Virginia Bailey is set in Nazi-occupied Rome. So it's World War II set in Italy, which is not typical for the World War II books that I read. Thought that would be kind of cool. House of Silence, Where Secrets Dwell by Sarah Bartel. This is set in Illinois in 1875. Secrets, houses, I'm down with that. And then these two are by the same author, Jane Tyne, or Thin. I'm not sure how to say her last name. Beautiful covers. The Pursuit of Pearls, which is, again, set in World War II about a British actress. World War II. Doesn't need much to get me to pick it up. And then The Scent of Secrets. I have to find out if these are part of a series. And this one is set in Paris, also during World War II, about a film star. So these are both like actresses, film, World War II. Thought I'd grab those. Excited. My World War II shelf needs to be rearranged because it's getting pretty full. I need to read some of them. All right, the last of these are from a fill-a-bag for $5. So I got these, plus some others that are for something else, plus some children's books for my friend who just adopted a few kids. So I filled 2 different bags. So I paid $10. And these are only the ones that I'll be keeping myself. The rest were all for other people. But I picked up 2 middle grade, Laurie Halse Anderson's Chains. This is a National Book Award finalist. She wrote Speak, I think is the book that she's most known for, but this one is set in Civil War South. I've heard really good things about it. Another middle grade historical fiction book is Under the Blood Red Sun by Graham Salisbury, and this one is in Hawaii, like Pearl Harbor side of things, during World War II, obviously, and it won the Scott Odell Award. I like some middle grade historical fiction. A couple that I have heard about here on BookTube, Jhumpa Lahiri, this is Interpreter of Maladies, and it's a short story collection. Also won the Pulitzer Prize. Behold the Dreamers by Imbolo Mbui. This was very popular, maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago. And I don't remember now if people really liked it or not. And I don't do good at looking stuff up on Goodreads. I didn't check ahead of time. This one is kind of a family drama set in New York City about a family who immigrates from Cameroon to New York in 2007. And it has to do with like financial crisis and stuff like that as well. I don't know. We'll see. I just picked up a fun one, My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. Every once in a while, you need a lighthearted, fun read, and Sophie Kinsella is very good for that. I grabbed The Red Tent by Anita Diamant. I loved Boston Girl by her, and this one I feel like I've had before and then unhauled. I don't know why I didn't keep it. This one is a retelling of Jacob and his family from the Bible. So I've seen the movie and wonder how the book compares. I don't know. Someday I'll get to that one. This one I wasn't sure I was going to keep, but it's Saints and Villains by Denise Giardina, and it doesn't have a very compelling cover, if you ask me, but it's about Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a spy and a Christian during World War II. And I've heard so many good things about Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and I'm always so intrigued to read more about his life. So when I realized that this book was about him, I thought I would keep it for sure. I picked up a thriller, a little tiny thriller, it's so short, called The Perfect Nanny by Lila Slimani. A chunker, historical fiction, New York, by Edward Rutherford. I think he has quite a few historical fiction that are also quite as chunky. I've been to New York many times and actually lived in New York, not the city, but the state, for most of my all of my childhood, really. So yeah, I thought this would be a fun one to read. I don't know that a book this big is a fun one, but yeah, sure, why not? All about the history of New York. A Christian fiction that I grabbed is A Hope Undaunted by Julie Lessman. She is an author that I do enjoy her books, historical, romance. This one is set in the 1920s, so that should be fun. It's a little flapper era. And then I have 4 nonfiction books here. Donald Miller wrote a book that I loved called Blue Like Jazz, and he has quite a few, he has a few other books. This one is A Million Miles in 1,000 Years, What I Learned While Editing My Life. So I just grabbed that because I recognized his name and liked another book of his. I picked up Boys in the Boat, 9 Americans and Their Epic Quest for Gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. I've heard a few people talk about that one. These two I haven't heard anyone talk about, but they jumped out at me as sounding interesting. The first one is The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, a Hmong child, her American doctors, and the collision of two cultures. The Hmong people are from Southeast Asia, mainly Laos, and this is by Anne Fadiman. I think I heard about this on Anne Bogel's podcast, Modern Mrs. or What Should I Read Next? I feel like I've heard about this on that podcast. It explores the clash between a small country hospital in California and a refugee family from Laos over the care of Leah Lee, a Hmong child diagnosed with severe epilepsy. Leah's parents and her doctors both wanted what was best for Leah, but the lack of understanding between them led to tragedy. Sounds a little bit heartbreaking, but I'm excited to have that one. And then Little Princes, One Man's Promise to Bring Home to the Lost Children of Nepal by Connor Grennan. In search of adventure, 29-year-old Connor Grennan embarked on a year-long journey around the globe, beginning with a 3-month stint volunteering at an orphanage in Civil War-torn Nepal. But a shocking truth would forever change his life. These rambunctious, resilient children were not orphans at all, but had been taken from their families by child traffickers who falsely promised to keep them safe from war before abandoning them in the teeming chaos of Kathmandu. For Connor, what started as a footloose ramble became a dangerous, dedicated mission to unite youngsters he had grown to love with the parents they had been stolen from. A breathtaking adventure as Connor risked everything in the treacherous Nepalese mountains to bring the children home. I forgot that that's what this was about. That sounds really good. Oh, I feel like I'm going to cry during this one too. I mean, just reading the back almost made me cry. I'm not going to try to hold up all those books. There's a lot of them. But let's chat below. Have you read any of these? Should I definitely read some sooner than others? Let me hear your thoughts about them. Did any stand out to you or sound interesting? I would love to chat with you in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye!